Title: She uninvited me, so I planned my own trip. It started with a single text. Hey, just a heads up, we decided to keep the trip smaller this year. It's nothing personal. I reread my sister's message at least 5 times, trying to convince myself I was misinterpreting it. But the words didn't change. The tone didn't soften. My sister, Emma 31F, had just told me, her younger sister 27F, that I wasn't invited to the annual beach trip we'd taken together with our mutual friends for the past 5 years. At first, I honestly thought it was a joke. Emma and I had always been close, or so I thought. We grew up sharing everything: clothes, secrets, heartbreaks. She was my best friend before I ever made any outside of our family. But somewhere along the line, things shifted. Maybe it was after she got married, or when she had kids. Maybe I just didn't fit neatly into her new life anymore. I stared at my phone, debating how to reply. My heart was pounding, my chest tight. Smaller trip. There were only 6 of us last year. Me, her, and for mutual friends. Who exactly was she cutting? So I asked, wait, smaller, who's going? She didn't reply for almost an hour. Then finally, just me, Sarah, Kim, and Jess. You know how chaotic it gets. Figured we'd keep it simple this time. My stomach dropped. Those were our mutual friends. Not hers, ours. And she just decided I wasn't part of the simple version of the group. One didn't say much after that. I sent a polite, got it, have fun, and tried to pretend I didn't care. But inside, I was boiling. It wasn't just about being uninvited. It was the betrayal. These were my friends too, and none of them had said a word to me. The next day, I found out why. Sarah called me, sounding awkward and guilty. Hey look, Emma just said you couldn't come because she needed a break. She didn't want drama. Drama. That word felt like poison. Apparently, Emma had told everyone I was too negative lately, that I was draining, and she needed time away from family. I couldn't believe it. I had always been the one she vented to, the one who helped with her kids, who picked her up when she fought with her husband, and now she was calling me the problem. So when a few of my other friends, one she hadn't invited, suggested we take a spontaneous weekend trip instead, I said yes without hesitation. I planned everything. Flights, hotel, even a group chat to hype it up. I needed something to look forward to. Then, a week before the trip, Emma called me. She sounded panicked. Hey, can you babysit the kids that weekend? Our sitter bail. I swear, I almost laughed. That weekend? The same one should be sipping margaritas with our friends while pretending I didn't exist. Sorry, I said, I already made plans. She was silent for a few seconds. Plans? With who? I hesitated, then told her the truth. I'm going on a trip too, with some friends. That's when her tone changed. Wait, what? You're going on vacation while I'm out of town. Who's going to help with the kids? I bit back the urge to say, maybe the same people who replaced me on your trip. Instead, I calmly said, Emma, you didn't want me there. You said you needed space. So I'm giving it to you. She got angry. Really angry. She accused me of being petty, immature, of punishing her by refusing to help. She said I was abandoning her when she needed me most. I finally snapped. You uninvited me from our tradition. You told our friends I was too negative. And now you want me to babysit your kids while you go enjoy yourself. No. I'm done being your backup plan. She hung up on me. Now the family group chat is a mess. My mom thinks I was cruel. She said I shouldn't stoop to Emma's level, but my dad told me privately he understood. That maybe this was the only way Emma would realize how much she's taken me for granted. Still, I can't help feeling torn. She's my sister. Her kids adore me. But I also can't keep letting her treat me like I'm disposable. Like I'm there to fill the gaps in her life when it's convenient. When her trip came around, she didn't message me once. But I saw her friends' posts, the smiling faces, the beach sunsets, the captions about Girls' Week tradition. It hurt. So when I posted my pictures a few days later, from a mountain cabin with new friends, I won't lie, it felt good. Petty? Maybe. But for the first time, I didn't feel like an afterthought. So aitah for refusing to babysit and planning my own trip. After finding out my sister uninvited me from hers, I thought that would be the end of it. Me and Emma, the sisters drifting apart, nursing silent grudges on opposite sides of the country. But of course, things are never that simple when it comes to family. 3 days after she got back from her trip, my phone rang. Her name lit up the screen, and for a second, I actually hesitated before answering. My heart was pounding. When I finally picked up, I didn't even get a hello. You really had to post pictures, she said, her voice tight, cold. I blinked, taken off guard. What? You knew I'd see them. You and your new friends having the time of your life. Was that necessary? I could hear something brittle underneath her anger. Jealousy. Maybe. Or guilt. Emma, I said slowly, you literally uninvited me from our trip. You think I was just supposed to sit at home and wait for you to come back? She didn't respond. I heard her sigh. Then, quietly, it's not what you think. That stopped me. What do you mean? There was a pause. Then she said, I didn't not invite you because I didn't want you there. I didn't invite you because I thought you'd find out. Find out what? She hesitated, her voice faltering. About Mark. Mark. Her husband, my brother-in-law. I froze. What about him? He has been messaging Sarah. For months. Sarah, one of the friends who went on the trip. The same Sarah who had called me earlier, awkwardly trying to justify why I wasn't invited. I felt my stomach twist. Wait. Sarah? The one you went on the trip with. Yet, she said quietly. I found out a few weeks ago. I told her she had to come so I could confront her in person. I didn't want you there because I didn't want you caught in the middle. I didn't want anyone to know until I figured out what to do. My mind was spinning. All the resentment, the hurt, the betrayal I'd felt. Suddenly it was colliding with something else. Shaw, she continued, her voice shaking. I thought if I told you, you'd tell Mom or you'd confront her yourself. And I couldn't handle that. I just wanted to control it. To feel like I had power over something. I sank onto the couch, speechless. Emma, I whispered, you could have told me. I would have helped you. Would you? She said bitterly. You were already pulling away. You barely text anymore. You don't even ask how I'm doing. That stung, because every time I do, you remind me how busy you are with your kids, your job, your life. You pushed me away first. Silence again. Then I heard her start to cry. Really cry. The kind of crying you can't fake. I know, she said. I just didn't know how to fix it. And now it's all ruined. Mark moved out last night. Sarah blocked me. Everyone's pretending nothing happened. For a long time, I didn't know what to say. I'd spent weeks angry at her, convinced she'd betrayed me. But now I was realizing she'd been betrayed too. Just in a way far worse than I could have imagined. I finally said, why didn't you tell me before? I thought you didn't want me around. She sniffed, because I was ashamed. I thought maybe if I pretended everything was fine, if I took that trip, I could prove I wasn't falling apart. That night, we talked for almost 3 hours. She told me everything. How she'd found flirty texts between Mark and Sarah, how she'd confronted him, how he'd said it meant nothing, how she'd spent the whole trip watching Sarah, pretending not to know, pretending to smile for group photos while dying inside. And suddenly, all the bitterness in me melted into something else. Empathy, heartbreak. When she finally stopped talking, I said, I'm sorry I yelled at you. I didn't know. She let out a weak laugh. No, you were right too. I treated you like garbage. I deserved it. We didn't fix everything that night. There were too many layers of resentment and silence between us. But it was the first honest conversation we'd had in years. A week later, I went over to our house to see the kids. They ran into my arms like nothing had ever happened, babbling about cartoons and school. Emma looked exhausted but lighter, as if finally telling someone had lifted something off her chest. We sat on the porch after they went to bed. She handed me a cup of tea and said, "Do you still hate me?" I smiled faintly. No, but I wish you'd trusted me sooner. I wish that too, she said. I keep thinking about how close I came to losing you, all because I was trying to hide something that wasn't even my fault. Then she looked at me, really looked at me, and said, "Thank you for saying no to babysitting. You forced me to face my own mess." It wasn't forgiveness, not yet, but it was peace, or something close to it. Now, a month later, Mark's gone for good. Emma's in therapy. Sarah's out of the friend group. And me? I still go on trips, but this time, sometimes, I bring Emma too. We laugh again, even if the laughter sometimes carries the ghosts of what we lost. I used to think betrayal always came from the people furthest from us. But now I know. Sometimes it's the ones closest who hurt us the most, not out of malice, but out of fear. And sometimes forgiveness isn't saying it's okay. It's saying, I finally understand why you did it. It's been almost a year since that conversation on Emma's porch, the night everything cracked open between us. A year of tentative peace. A year of therapy sessions, of late-night calls, of trying to rebuild something that felt too shattered to ever be whole again. Emma had changed since then, softer in some ways, harder in others. She'd stopped pretending to be perfect. She started going for walks, baking again, even laughing. But there was still something behind her eyes, something she didn't talk about. I noticed it one Sunday afternoon when we were sitting at the kitchen table drinking coffee. She was staring at her phone, not really seeing it, her thumb hovering over the screen. "Who's that?" I asked. She flinched. "Oh, just work stuff." But I could see her pulse jump at her throat. The lie was too obvious. I didn't press. Not yet. A week later, I got a message from an unknown number. It was short. "You should ask your sister who she's been meeting on Tuesday nights." No name, no context, just that. I stared at the message for hours, trying to convince myself it was nothing. But I couldn't shake it. Tuesday came, and I did something I never thought I'd do. I followed her. I parked across the street from the cafe near the lake, the one she and Mark used to go to before everything fell apart. And there she was, sitting at a corner table, not alone. Mark sat across from her. My stomach dropped. They weren't touching, but they were leaning in close. Her hand brushed her hair the way it always did when she was nervous. He smiled, that same charming, practiced smile that had fooled everyone for years. I felt sick. I waited until they both left separately, then went home. I couldn't sleep. The next day, I called her. "Were you with Mark last night?" I asked. There was a long silence. Then she said, "Who told you that?" That's not an answer. She sighed, the long, tired exhale. "Yes, I saw him, but it's not what you think." I almost laughed. "You sound just like him when you say that." "Please, just listen," she said quickly. He wanted to apologize, to explain. I thought maybe I could finally get closure. "Closure?" I snapped. "From the man who cheated on you with your friend." Her voice cracked. "You think I don't know that? You think I forgot? Then why see him?" "Because I needed to see if I still hated him." That silenced me. She took a shaky breath, and I didn't. That's the worst part. I looked at him, and all I could think about was how tired I was of being angry. I wanted it to stop. I didn't know what to say. I understood it, and yet I didn't. "Emma," I said quietly, "you don't owe him forgiveness." "I know," she whispered, "but I think I owe it to myself to stop letting him live rent-free in my head." For a while, I believed her. I wanted to. But something about the way she said it didn't feel final. It felt unresolved. Weeks passed. She seemed calmer, lighter even. But sometimes I'd see that same look in her eyes again. That distant, restless look. Then one night, she called me. It was late, and her voice was trembling. "I did something stupid," she said. My heart sank. "What happened?" "He came over. Just to talk. The kids were asleep. We opened a bottle of wine. One thing led to another." "Emma." "No," I whispered. She was crying now. I know. It's like I forgot everything for 1 second. And now he's saying he wants to come back." I could feel my chest tighten. "And what do you want?" Silence. Then, softly, "I don't know anymore." For a long time, neither of us spoke. The only sound was her breathing. Uneven, breaking. Finally, I said, "He broke you once. Don't let him do it again." "It's not that simple," she said. "You don't understand. I was so lonely. Everyone moved on. I just wanted to feel something." I closed my eyes. "Then feel yourself, Emma. Not him." But I could tell she wasn't hearing me. Not really. Over the next few weeks, I watched her slip, skipping therapy, avoiding calls, withdrawing again. And then, just like that, Mark was back in the house. Not full-time, but enough. Enough for the neighbors to talk. Enough for the kids to start asking questions. When I confronted her again, she just said, "You don't get to judge me." Maybe she was right. Maybe I didn't. But watching her repeat the same cycle, the same betrayal, the same heartbreak, it felt like watching someone slowly drown while refusing to grab the rope you're throwing. Months passed. Then one night, I got another message. This time from Mark. "Thought you should know, Emma kicked me out again." She finally saw the messages. "What messages?" I wrote back. He replied with a single photo. Him shirtless, with another woman, a timestamp from 2 weeks earlier. I didn't even reply. I just called Emma. When she answered, she already knew. Her voice was hollow. "I thought he changed," she said. I wanted to believe it so badly. I didn't want to be the woman everyone pitied anymore. And that's when I realized, sometimes betrayal isn't a single act. It's a pattern that repeats until you finally choose yourself. Emma hasn't spoken to Mark since. She's back in therapy. this time not pretending to be fine. She told me the other day, maybe the worst thing isn't that he cheated, it's that I let myself forget what he was capable of. I told her, you didn't forget. You hoped. She smiled sadly. Yeah, I guess that's what kills us in the end, hope. Now, when I look at her, I see someone who's still healing, still broken, maybe, but no longer lost. And me? I've learned that sometimes love doesn't die all at once. It dies slowly every time you forgive someone who isn't sorry.